Another day, another Anthem bug. This isn't just any bug though, this is a calculation of the pointless nature of the Anthem game loop. That's right, Anthem is now statistically and fundamentally flawed on its gameplay loop. The whole point you play this game is pointless. Looter shooters exist to acquire loot. This loot makes you more powerful. Your weapons, your skills, your abilities, etc. You feel accomplished when you get those rare legendary drops that boost your stats further. Now you boost your stats so you can go fight stronger enemies to get better loot, and that's the whole gameplay loop. However, as of 1.0.3 patch, the game loop is now broken. All loot drops are irrelevant. This is an expansion of how the Ranger's level 1 Defender rifle is stronger than a legendary equipment of the same type, as well as the exploit of removing your support items to turn you into a melee ultimate damage creature. The calculated combined power score the game gives you is now utterly pointless. What this means is equipping one legendary item is better than equipping all 6, which means you don't need those other items, which makes getting more loot pointless even if the game tells you you have a higher power level. But what about inscriptions, which can modify your stats further, found in legendary gear? Well, the actual calculation that user TermperHoof has figured out shows us that the multiplier at power level 75 is 22.622, and this is what I want to highlight. This number is insanely high. So high, in fact, that it will inadvertently overwrite inscriptions. This means you're constantly playing a game of diminishing returns, and your true goal is to try and keep your power level higher than your power score. There are more technical details on the worthlessness of Epic Gear, and if you're curious on his 4 points and observations, you can check out the Reddit post yourself. But he concludes with, this isn't some sort of bug. This is a fundamental design flaw. At this point, the game is lying to you about how much damage you're doing. This is why there is no stat sheet, as there isn't anything worth recording. If you play the game thinking your power scores, weapons, abilities, components, or the inscriptions attached to them matter, then you're doing yourself harm. Follow my advice, realize that as of 1.0.3, none of it matters anymore, and just become melee and ultimate spamming gods. Oh, and Darokaz did in fact comment on some things because he's a community manager. His response is, spoke with a designer on this so I understand how it's being fixed. Instead of using how many items you actually have equipped, the calculation will be done by how many slots you have unlocked. This means at level 30, for example, your average power score will be divided by 11, even if you have empty weapon gear component slots. That doesn't exactly tell us the ability of your weapons and gear will change. That just tells us the calculation for your average power score will be different on the next patch. They're not modifying the existing game for balance issues by talking to a developer to tweak a gun or change an inscription. They're getting a game designer involved on the entire stat and loot system. This isn't a balance issue. It's the entire game loop being broken. This is every piece of equipment that should modify your abilities to become stronger lying to you. I don't know how they're going to fix this, but this is now worse than the launch of Fallout 76 and No Man's Sky and any other game that didn't have enough content, because what is there is actually not working. This not only has a lack of content, but the thing it's supposed to be, a looter shooter, does not give you better loot. Or if it does tell you you're getting better loot, it doesn't do anything. There is now no reason to keep playing a game after a certain point, as the stuff you get, if it does in fact drop, is a lie. Additionally, in his postscript, he does list a component inscription that doesn't modify the melee ranger AoE damage attack, but instead only the standard melee attack, as opposed to the item being completely worthless. Bravo, BioWare.